And number 29, junior goalkeeper, Maddie Levine. The Dragons are coached by MLA Matthew and Eddie Patrick. And now for your Greely Rangers. Number 3, midfielder and junior, Abby Collins. Number 5, sophomore defender, Grace Till. Number 6, senior midfielder and captain, Audrey Ingersoll. Number 7, junior defender, Maya Tracy. Number 12, junior defender, Sophia Littell. Number 13, sophomore attacker, Hadley Hatch. Number 14, a senior midfielder and captain, Kelsey Crocker. Number 15, a senior defender and captain, Avery Bush. Number 16, a senior attacker, Kaya Perkins. Number 26, a freshman midfielder, McKenna Seaver. And number 33, a sophomore goalie, Liv Clark. The Rangers will coach by Dr. Colton, Corey Bush, Stacey Silverman, Evelyn Hinckley, and Jen Spencer. Tonight, we welcome all veterans and active military family members to the game and thank them for their service and sacrifice. Now, let us honor America with our national anthem. Officials for today's game are Tom Perkins, Jamie Chamberlain, Pam McGee, and Kayla Dillon.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to we're unmuted.
Here in National Guard, we remind you that interscholastic athletics are an important part of education.
Gentlemen, to
All FPA sanctioned events and after you support it, I showing respect for everyone involved, including student athletes, coaches, officials, fellow fans, and positive, encouraging behavior. Thank you for helping us create a championship level environment for everyone.
Now you can go.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Greely High School for our state semifinal matchup between the Greely Rangers and the Brunswick Dragons. This is, of course, a neutral site game by some miracle. It's a home game for Greely. Joining me here today is Robert Bowen and Oscar Garza. This potentially may be Robert Bowen and I's last game together, so we're going to try and make it a good one for you guys. Rob, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Kaz. Very sad. Very sad to be with you here today, Kaz. I should be preparing for our game against Marshwood later, but instead it will be the Greely boys lacrosse team playing against Marshwood instead of Brunswick. And we are here. This game could have been played at Mount Ararat. That was the other option for the venue for the Class B semifinal, but they chose to play it here at Greely. So we have a home game here at a neutral site for the Rangers.
Sounds about right, Robert. You don't seem too excited about that, but we'll get going here. We're going to see a draw taken at midfield between Solveig Lidwick and Audrey Ingersoll. This will kick off our our game here. Of course, we cannot bring you video due to contract rights with NFHS that we have gotten in a bit of trouble for in the past. So
Well,
we're just gonna go audio today.
we didn't stop a game when a team was up 6-0 and then restart, and then the other team won 3-0. Don't think we did that.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound right. All right, we'll get underway here. Solveig Ledwig from Brunswick been great on the draws this year. And we are underway. Draw one back. And Greely will carry ahead here. Greely wins that draw. Avery Bush into the attacking zone. Looks for the quick pass. Does not go. She had Casey Lord low. Lord could not quite reel it in. And Maeve Donahue of the Dragons will take over as she advances up the field. Going to look for help here. Not a whole lot of pressure early. Donahue looks ahead, has Sydney Parham. Parham doubled quickly. Evading pass to Addie White. White now crosses half field with a pass to Eva Kowski. Kowski can't secure it. Ball on the ground. Kowski now scoops it into the offensive zone. Kowski switches hands. A absolute herd of Rams around here. Of Rangers. We're going to get a quick foul against Greely here.
Kaz, I completely understand that confusing Greely with Gorham. Same color scheme, got that G. Rams, Rangers, pretty much the same thing.
Yes, that's where my confusion came from. This is going to be Morgan Barnhorst. Low pass to Cantrell. Cantrell sits behind the net now. She will advance now. She sits at X. Quickly guarded. Big check there from Maya Tracy. Over to Eva Kowski. Kowski side left of the net. Up to Nolt. Nolt on the upper left wing now. Top of the key. Looks to shoot. Won't find the opportunity to. Back to Barnhorst. Barnhorst runs around a pick from Ledwick. Barnhorst, the freshman, has had a great season for the Dragons thus far. Ledwick now. Top of the key. Really defense holds strong. Dragons just looking to create opportunity here.
Yeah, Kaz 14 in black for the Dragons. Of course, Solveig Ledwick is the KVAC co-player of the year.
Do you know who was KVAC player of the year unanimously for the boys' side?
Enlighten me, Kaz.
I think it was you, Rob. Dragons strike first. Morgan Barnhorst to the cage. It's exactly the start the Dragons needed. Morgan Barnhorst just got through a couple defenders there, created a little bit of space, and buries one. And the Dragons are fired up. Yes.
Morgan Barnhorst.
Kaz, what a start for the Dragons, of course, come in as the underdogs at the 5th seed in Class B. The Rangers are the number 1 seed. Off to a hot start. 10:09 to go here in the first quarter. 1-0 Brunswick.
Yeah, that's a great start for the Dragons and a great start for the freshman Morgan Barnhorst. She's been nothing but class this year. And we're going to get a quick foul on the draw. Dragon ball. Nolt scoops it, and she will take over. Finds back to Natalie Parham. Parham now. Over to Nolt. Nolt swings to Grace Roque. Roque with a bit of room to maneuver here. Pass ahead to Addie White. Dragons have crossed half field. Dragons look to enter the offensive zone. And they're going to get 2 quick foul calls on Greely. Nothing penalty worthy, but a stoppage of play. And play will now resume. Addie White passes ahead to Eva Kowski. Kowski struggled to secure it at first. Ball on the ground now. Kowski does scoop it. Evade a couple defenders as she leaves it off for Morgan Barnhorst. Barnhorst at the top of the key. Underhanded pass to Ledwick, who of course was our KVAC player of the year. She tries to find Emma Mishu, who bobbled it, but does secure. Mishu running off defenders. Nice little bit of stick work there, but it will be taken away. They will get a real quick foul call again here on Greely as the Dragons take over. It won't be a free position shot, but Mishu will have a bit of room at the top of the key. She will just toss it over to Barnhorst on the right wing. Barnhorst down to X with Natalie Cantrell. Cantrell bobbles it. Scoops now. And another quick foul call here. Ball set to be back in play now. Cantrell continues to hold on behind the net here. Has Kowski low. Kowski running a little bit of a banana swirl type move here. Kowski back to Ledwick. Ledwick on the right wing. Up to Sydney Parham at the top of the key. Looks to create a bit of space. Runs into a wall of Rangers. Madison Nolt spins behind the net. Back to Parham. Pass was incomplete. Ball on the ground. Kowski, the lone dragon there to win it. And here is Ledwick now ahead. Ledwick guarded tightly by the Greely defense here. Stick check, and the ball comes down. They do get an over-the-back call there, it looks like. And this will be dragging ball here. It was Avery Bush of the Ranger defense who had that check. Ledwick, not a free position shot, as it will be that second circle. But she tried to get a dump pass in, doesn't go, and it will wind up in the stick of number 33, Liv Clark, the Greely goalie, who quickly finds ahead to Audrey Ingersoll. Kowski in hot pursuit, and they will get a quick foul on Kowski. Ingersoll continues to run, and now it will be Greely in the attacking zone. Casey Lord with the ball, guarded by Addison White. Little Canadian pass there. This is going to be number 16, Kaya Perkins. Behind net, picked off by Ledwick. Ledwick bouncing pass. They were going to get another foul here in Greely. This has been a disproportionate amount of fouls here.
Yeah, Abby Collins unable to handle that pass for the Rangers. Ledwick got the crucial defensive ground ball, and the Dragons have possession. 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
Ledwick trying to get past half, triple teamed here. Stick will be checked ball, checked out of bounds. Greely ball as they take over. This is going to be Abby Collins here of the Greely Rush. Runs into Sydney Parham. Ball hits the ground. This is going to be another foul call. Clock continues to run. 6:30 to go here in our first quarter of action as the Dragons hold their 1-goal lead. Score sits 1-0. Will be Greely to continue possession. Kelsey Crocker, guarded by Barnhorst. Crocker sets it up. Looks for a little isolation. She is guarded by Morgan Barnhorst. Barnhorst bats it down. Ball on the ground. Crocker is the first one to scoop it. Crocker's dive to the cage. Won't go. Up ahead here to Hadley Hatch. Shot won't go. Goalie chase. Greely is the first there. It's going to be, it is Maddie Levine in net for the Dragons here. Really looking to create something here. It's Audrey Ingersoll, the face-off taker. Finds back to Hadley Hatch. To an open number 14. That's Kelsey Crocker. Will even things here in Cumberland as Greely gets their get back.
Rangers goal scored by number 14, Kelsey Crocker.
Yeah, the number 1 seed gets on the board there. Crocker was open on the crease, just nice feet inside, and the Rangers tied up.
Yeah, that was necessary for the Rangers there. Brunswick has been dominating possession so far, and certainly offensive chances. So Greely striking back is big time for the ladies. I see a face-off at half. This time, Morgan Barnhorst will be taking it for the Dragons. I believe it is still Ingersoll for the Rangers. Ball in the air. Height advantage was going to go to Greely, but we're going to get a quick foul on Barnhorst. Greely scoops it up and takes it into the offensive zone. This is Naomi Seaver with the ball now. She will fire it over to Abby Collins. Collins, top of the key, Dragons sitting back defensively here. Pass over to Hadley Hatch. Hits the ground. Hits the ground again, and Hadley Hatch is going to just stumble out of bounds with that one. Not a defender within 20 feet. Dragons will take over. Addie White takes the ball. Grace Roque will take the ball. And fake the pass, get a quick foul call there. Grace Roque to Solveig Ledwick. Dragons in their own defensive third looking to get out here. Ledwick runs off a screen, has Natalie Parham, the senior captain, quickly doubled. Ledwick to Sydney Parham, the twin sister, to Eva Kowski. Dragons cross half, and the pressure does not lighten. Maeve Donahue couldn't secure the pass. Dragons back in their own defensive third, nearly. Back to Grace Roque. Ball hits the ground again. Roque over to Addie White. White has Kowski ahead. Does not find that pass. Dumps back to Roque. Broke offhanded pass to Ledwick. Ledwick sitting as the last player back here. Ahead to Natalie Parham. Parham scoops it now. Quick couple checks, and the Dragons will win the foul call there, taking over effectively in the offensive third now. And Parham enters. This is Natalie Parham, the senior captain and defender in the offensive zone. Has Morgan Barnhorst. She will check back out. Ledwick now in. Barnhorst gets inside, looks for a room. Absorbs a couple checks, but does not get a clear look at the cage. Cantrell being shielded off now by defenders. She is sitting at the top of the key now. Leaves it off for Madison Nolt. Nolt high up. Stick fakes. She is quickly defended there. Not a whole lot of room. Dragons looking for something. Barnhorst runs inside and leaves it off for Natalie Cantrell. Cantrell running around the Dragon or the Ranger rusher. Kosinski catch inside. Shot won't go. Big save there. And the ball is on the ground. Mishu does beat it to the line. Mishu beats that ball to the line there. Keeps it in for the Dragons. Gives it to Ledwick. Ledwick tries to drive inside. One too many Rangers there. And she will now take it back out and leave it off for Barnhorst. Barnhorst goes low. Tries to get room to maneuver. Won't. Leaves it off. Underhanded for Solveig Ledwick. And is this going to be a free position shot for the Dragons here? It looks like it. Morgan Barnhorst.
Yeah, Barnhorst, one of the best shooters on this team for the Dragons. Free position shot. Here to try to take the lead.
It's going to be Liv Clark in net. Barnhorst drives inside, and it will be defended. No goal there from the Dragons. Barnhorst didn't get a clear shot off. So that defense collapsed immediately.
Kaz, ground balls win games, and Sydney Parham, the offensive ground ball to keep possession off the defended free position shot. Dragons still have the ball here, 2:10 to go in the first quarter, tied at 1.
That's right on, Rob. Ground balls win games. GBWG. Nolt spins inside, can't dump it in. Little drop step action there from Madison Nolt. Ball on the ground in front of the crease, eventually scooped up. And Kosinski with a booming hit there. That was on Kelsey Crocker. And it looks like they're going to send Kosinski to the penalty box here.
Yeah, Kaz, the Madison Nolt inside roll, I've talked about it before, is one of the top moves on this team. And just unable to bury it. A nice save there from Clark and net for the Rangers. And yes, Kosinski did cross-check the Ranger in the back, and it will be Greely ball with the man advantage.
That's right, Rob. It does hurt the Dragons here. They will be down a man, but minute 51 to go here. They just need to hold off the Rangers and get to that second quarter.
That is a 2-minute locked-in penalty for Eva Kosinski. So the Rangers will have the player advantage for the remainder of the first quarter.
Yeah, and the Rangers just go ahead and throw that ball clean away there. Dragons will take over inside the Rangers' own half here at about the 40-yard line. Sydney Parham arcing pass to Morgan Barnhorst. The Dragons throw it right back. And they will get a quick foul on Solveig Ledwick. It is going to be Kelsey Crocker here of the Ranger attack. She will dump it back to, I believe this is Avery Bush. It is. Bush is legging it. Will beat Cantrell on foot. Maeve Donahue, the first slide. Gets there. Bush gets inside. Donahue forces her back out. And we're going to get a stoppage of play here. Rob, any idea what we're looking at here?
No, I don't know there, Kaz, but I do know the Dragons did escape there without giving up a goal on the fast break. I would have liked for number 6 in white, Ingersoll, to kind of come up the field there and force the 2-on-1 there for the Dragons. She stayed at X, and they were able to defend it. Offsides.
Yeah, they're going to get a offsides call there. Be Greely behind net now. Grace Roke, the primary defender. Donahue now. It is going to be tossed over to Kaya Perkins. Perkins back to Ingersoll. Finds the cutting Avery Bush. Bush finds the bottom of the net.
Really takes the lead. Avery Bush was one of the 2 players to watch that off the guard side mentioned before the game, and just like that last goal, Ranger open on the crease, found her, and this time it's Bush putting it away. Last time was Crocker. 2-1 lead for number 1 seeded Greely Rangers.
Yeah, that's what That's what's definitely hurting the Dragons about that man down situation is that when it comes down to it, you have one less player on the field. It's shown right there. We're going to get another Ingersoll versus Ledwick face off at the half. 39 seconds to go here. Dragons look to strike back before the end of the quarter. Draw is one ahead to Greely. Greely quickly into the offensive zone here. McKenna Seaver bombing ahead. Has the ball knocked away. Quickly gets it back out. Really needs to strike quick here. They got 13 seconds. Step down shot. And a really ripper makes the score 3-1 here. Hadley Hatch got a little bit of space. Stepped down and let it fly.
Rangers goal scored by number 13.
And there was a total of 16 seconds between those two goals. Detrimental to the Dragons, who started out 1-0, now has gone 3 unanswered here.
A low scoring start to this game, Kaz, but 2 goals in quick succession, both on the man up. That 2-minute locked-in penalty from Ibakowski has opened up the offense for the Rangers, and they've scored twice on it. Up 3-1, 23 seconds to go.
That's right, and we're going to get a quick foul here on Greely on the draw. 20 seconds to go. Nolt with the ball. Dragons need to be surging ahead here. 16 seconds. Parham can't control it. Now scoops it. In trouble. One hand on stick. Ball checked out. One into the air by Seaver. Seaver with 4 seconds. Ball knocked away. Nobody's going to get a shot off here. That is going to do it for our first quarter of play.
Yeah, so I believe we confirmed with our last game that in girls lacrosse, they don't have the rule that if it's an on-man situation, the team with possession at the end of the quarter has possession to start the next. I don't believe that is a rule, so that ending didn't matter there. We will start with the draw either way.
That's right, Robert.
Please visit the Maine International Guard table on site today or look at a snapshot. Hammond Lumber Company is proud to sponsor Maine's high school sports championship traditions. As a 4th-generation family-owned business, Hammond Lumber Company carries a full line of building materials, windows, and doors, and offers drafting and home planning services to help build your next project, supporting the communities we build on and off the field. Learn more at hammondlumber.com. Gosline Retirement Planning wishes all student athletes good luck in this year's tournament. A team of fiduciaries, Gosline Retirement Planning specializes in the transition from work life to retirement life. Visit Gosline Retirement Planning at grplans.com for more information. I have like one. Oh.
So ready. Everything we got all
Playing 2 at the same time.
35 seconds left to go in this break between the first and second quarters. Kaz, what do you think the Dragons should do here in the second?
I think they need to right the ship. I think that Kowski penalty really hurt them, so I'm not super worried about it because I don't know that penalty will release in 9 seconds. So I think once we're back to man on man, I think they're just as good as this team here. So they just need to play like it.
Yeah, Kaz, just the constant battle that we have to make sure that we don't have the copyrighted music playing during our stream. We can always mute it if need be, but yeah, already in trouble with the Maine Principals Association, or not anymore because we're doing it this way. Don't need to be in trouble with good old YouTube.
Yeah,
it's all set. We should be able to talk over it.
Yeah, it feels like we're constantly running into trouble here. But
will advance to Friday night state Class E championship game at Daring High School.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. After our brief hiatus there, we will be back up and running here. It's going to be Avery Bush and Solveig Ledwick taking this draw. Parham and Nolt, the immediate gunners, looking to win it off. And ball one into the air, batted down by Nolt. Nolt is the first one to the ground ball. Can't scoop it, ball still down. Solveig Ledwick possesses it and runs it up for the Dragons. Has Sienna Small ahead, Small into the offensive zone. The sophomore goes offhand, creates space, just running through all of the Rangers now, down to Emma Mishu, the freshman, who has a tricky little spin move there. Mishu, quite the athlete. She was an excellent soccer player for the Dragons this fall and an excellent basketball player in the winter.
That is just great defense there from number 7 in white for the Rangers, Maya Tracy, who was able to defend Mishu, who should have had a nice scoring chance for the Dragons. Really gets the ball back and is clearing with Collins.
Yeah, that was a big check there from Little. And Collins, all kinds of room here. Doesn't end up taking the shot. Donahue, the first one to lay off the check. Collins hits the ground. Donahue wins the ball now. And we are going to get a stoppage of clock here. We'll be dragging ball.
Kaz, it's the exact same thing there that happened last time. Collins is running down the field all alone, and Kaya Perkins is just waiting at X. The Dragons were able to defend the Rangers there, even though they have the odd man rush. You're not a scoring threat when you're behind the net. I would love Perkins. Well, I am actually rooting for Brunswick, but if I were rooting for the Rangers, I would love Perkins to run up the field there and be a scoring threat above goal line extended.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. Just kind of like extend that pressure and really take advantage of that man advantage. This would be Barnhorst now to Addie White. White will be picked off by Avery Bush at the midfield. Bush now legging it all the way, dumps it inside, broken up by the stick of Grace Roke. And Grace Roke now, ball checked out. Roke still maintains possession, and they will now get a foul on Bush. Grace Roke to take it out for the Dragons. Roke looks for a pass, has Ledwick back into her own half, to her own defending third. Ledwick now drops the ball, and it will be picked up by Naomi Seaver here. Ball once again knocked free. It's going to be Little of the Greely defense who wins it over to Maya Tracy. Ball hits the ground. Ball still on the ground. Avery Bush scoops now. Comes bombing ahead. The stick check from Kowski frees the ball. Ball still down. Kowski looking to scoop now. Avery Bush hits the ground. Kowski falls over her. And it will be Grace Till. The really attack slows down here. They are in the Dragons' offensive zone, the strike zone. Kaya Perkins up to Naomi Seaver. Seaver all the way over to, I believe this is Hatch. Nope, this is Crocker. Crocker waiting for anything to be set up here. Another big shot there from Hadley. Hatch, but it won't go. Was bumped out by Levine, but the ball still in play for the Hatch. Now gets the room to shoot, and she will strike again. Extending the Greely lead up to 3. That was Hatch.
Greely Rangers goal scored by number 13, Hadley Hatch.
Hatch now with a brace on the day. That is her second goal. The Ranger lead is up to 3 with 9 minutes and 9 seconds to play in our second quarter of play. Robert, definitely appears that there is a snack shack up and running somewhere. You're going to have to investigate that a little closer during the halftime break.
Kaz, we can also see over there below the Greely Rangers words. That is the Greely Rangers boys lacrosse team sitting down in the shade. They will play Marshwood after this game in the Class B boys semifinal.
Naomi Seaver had a big shot there that was pulled out of the air by Madeline Levine, but we're going to get a foul call. It will be what appears to be a free position shot for Naomi Seaver. Dragon defense collapses. Madeline Levine saves that one right out of the air, keeping the Dragons away from a 4-goal deficit.
Yeah, Kaz, on this field, it's a brand new turf. It is a strange turf. It's very slippery. Ball doesn't bounce all that much. I would love Seaver to try the bounce shot there and put the ball around Levine's feet. She did just shoot stick side high, and Levine made the save.
Yeah, somewhat textbook there for Levine, but the textbook ones are the ones you can't afford to miss. Ball on the ground here now. Both Parhams going for it. It will be knocked out of bounds by the Rangers. It was Hadley Hatch. Sorry, Kelsey Crocker who bumped that one out. Dragons take over. Natalie Parham on the far left corner of her own defensive third fires it over to Solveig Ledwick, who's our KVAC co-player of the year. Ledwick into Morgan Barnhorst in the midfield. Barnhorst absorbing a few checks and is running around this edge here. And they are going to get a foul there on McKenna Seaver. Will be Morgan Barnhorst. Barnhorst needs to get this one in quick here as there are three Rangers collapse. She does, finds Kowski early. Dragon rush now. Kowski had the ball knocked free and slipped. Ball on the ground. Kowski looking to scoop. Won't get it. Avery Bush of the Rangers does. Has her goalie, Liv Clark. Clark dumps it into the flat here. Really looking to evade here. This is going to be number 12, Sophia Little. Ball on the ground now. Emma Mishu, the freshman, scoops it. And it was quickly collapsed upon. Ref will call a brief foul there. And Mishu, nice footwork, gets her out of a tough situation. She has Sienna Small up now. Small eating a couple checks here, switches hands. Ball batted down by Grace Till. And they are going to get a tripping foul on Sienna Small there. Will be Greely's ball to evade here. Grace Till just legs it by a bunch of Dragons here into the attacking third. Now still on foot. Fires it up ahead to Collins. Sorry to Hadley Hatch. Hatch now down to Lord. Casey Lord at X. These Rangers are dangerous in the offensive third. They've shown that so far. Almost every chance they've had to score, they've scored. The Dragons going to have to definitely not allow that to continue happening. Molly Magoon here. Over to Hadley Hatch, the dual goal scorer already. With a bit of room. And Naomi Sieber will dump that one in. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar style. Skyhook action extends the lead to 4.
Greely Rangers goal scored by number 30, Naomi Seaver.
Looks like Seaver listened to my advice and put that stick side low on Levine and able to bury it. 5 straight goals for the Rangers. It's looking good for the Dragons early on with that first goal, but Rangers showing why they're the number 1 seed. Emily Mathley takes the timeout for Brunswick to debrief and try to stifle this Greely momentum.
Yeah, the winds have shifted here in Cumberland, Rob. What was once a promising start for the Dragons has turned into a sinking boat. Still plenty of time left in this game. 5:41 to go in our second quarter of play. 2 more after that, so nothing's over quite yet. But the Dragons definitely need to make some changes here.
Kaz, should we cover the Marshwood Greely game?
I don't know why we would do that, but I'm not entirely opposed to it. We are the Brunswick High Sports Network, but I suppose if there's nothing else going on, that would just be an easy way to get in trouble with the MPA, Rob. That's just pointless.
We don't even commentate. We just video stream it.
Yeah, just the worst thing we could do. You think?
Yeah.
Well, Robert, I like the way you think. You graduate and then you just sink everything that's still behind you.
Well, anything for you, Mr. President.
Oh yeah. This is probably the only game we'll ever commentate without Robert Bowen being the president of BHSN.
Well, the senior chief executive advisor to you.
That's correct. Senior chief advisor. Ethan Patterson, of course, junior advisor. He's earned that title this year through some of his hard work.
Yeah, guys, Dragons need to just stay out of the penalty box, try to guard the inside, watch out for cutters from the Greely offense, and try to get the ball on the offensive side and put some pucks in the back of the net.
Yep. That's a great analysis there. Pucks in the back of the net. Not quite hockey, but you know what? Lacrosse is like hockey on grass. In this case, turf. Oh, Ryan Levis is here. We got a couple Brunswick fellas walking in a little late, including our vice president, but You know what? All right, they made it at last. I have recently, after I was promoted president, after graduation, I promoted Ryan Livesey to vice president of BHSN. So we're happy to see him here. Avery Bush wins the ball ahead into the offensive 30, something we're all too familiar with recently in this game. Ball is bobbled at the back by Casey Lord. Lord will fire it over to Molly McGowan. Can't be saying that right. Little pass is a little high. And Avery Bush, the first one there. Avery Bush slows things down, finds Hadley Hatch. Hadley Hatch, Dragons defense, taking it nice and easy here. This will be Molly McGowan. He didn't have a shooting window, found Casey Lord behind net. Dumped inside now. Hadley Hatch, nothing there. Natalie Parham, the senior captain, will run it up ahead, find Grace Roke. Roke all the way up ahead to Sydney Parham.
Kaz, it's a great defensive possession from the Dragons. They guarded the cutter and Hatch just like I asked them to. Ledwick knocked the ball down. Natalie Parham got the ground ball, but Sydney unable to clear it. It's knocked out of bounds. It will be a push and really ball.
It did come out on Sydney Parham there, the younger sister of Natalie Parham, by like 6 minutes. This will be the McKenna Seaver all the way up ahead, guarded by freshman Morgan Barnhorst. Tries to find some space to cut inside. Barnhorst recovered nicely and kept her out there. We'll find it over to Hadley Hatch. Hatch down to Casey Lord. Lord sitting behind the net now. Looking for pass, has Molly McGowan up top. McGowan is guarded by Ledwick. Ledwick, the primary defender there. Back over to Hadley Hatch, guarded by Morgan Barnhorst. Hatch cuts inside, looks for a shot, won't get it. Dragons collapse on her. And she will hang on to the ball, but no banana there. Molly McGowan lining up an ISO, and Ludwig tries to beat her. Could not. Dumps it to the back of the net, and now over to Ingersoll. And Ingersoll dumped it back to Tess Waterhouse, who had a clear look at the back of the net and found the angle.
Rangers goal scored by number 4, Tess Waterhouse.
Kaz, it's pretty much the same thing I was talking about on the Greely fast breaks in transition. Just abuse the 2-on-1s. Dragons in that zone coverage. Roke in the lower right corner. Just Waterhouse passed it up to the wing. Roke followed up to the wing. Waterhouse back cut up to that near side pipe. Made the catch. Scored on Levine with the dunk. 6 consecutive goals for number 1 seed.
That is the unfortunate truth, Robert. Dragons started off real nice, but really tapered off since. Plenty of time for a second half magic. And ball is on the ground off the draw, won by Madison Nolt. Nolt ahead to Sydney Parham. Sydney Parham has a defender on her back that she should probably watch out for, and she does. It was Molly McGowan. Over to Morgan Barnhorst. Barnhorst up ahead to Natalie Cantrell. Cantrell guarded by Grace Till. Cantrell looks to beat her, spins. Still guarded by her. Needs to find a pass here as Till pulls off. Dumps it over to Eva Kowski. Kowski on the left wing, up to Morgan Barnhorst. Barnhorst, the freshman, runs off the screen by Kowski. Can't find any room inside. Does have Nolt behind the net. Nolt is checked down there. They're going to get a cross check. It will be Nolt's ball behind the cage. Sophia Little is the one they're going to ring out for the foul there. And Nolt will dump it back to Cantrell. Cantrell up to Eva Kowski high. Kowski bouncing shot. Big save there by Liv Clark. I don't hate the shot from Kowski at all, but it's a great defensive play as Tess Waterhouse now bombing ahead for the Rangers. And Waterhouse will make the safe pass there to Kaya Perkins. Perkins behind the net now, still surveying. Will fire it up to Hadley Hatch, who has already secured a brace on the day. Hadley Hatch up ahead to Kelsey Crocker. Crocker back to Hatch. The Dragons sit in their quasi zone, as Robert mentioned. And behind net now, Ingersoll still surveying, looking for something, won't find it. Dragon defense holding solid here. She will find some room now. Ingersoll lets it fly well over the bar. That one caught a little wind that was not favorable for the Rangers there.
Nearly got it in the uprights, but just wide right, Kaz.
Yeah, that's good analysis there, Rob. Hadley Hatch at the top of the key now, guarded by Morgan Barnhorst. Barnhorst won't play anything ridiculous here. This is going to be Crocker. Crocker down to Waterhouse. Test Waterhouse, number 4 of the Greely Rangers. Kaya Perkins tried to find that bottom corner. Comes off of the bar there. Out of bounds. Greely takes back over. Under a minute to go now. 50 seconds. This will be Hadley Hatch. Looks like Greely might just hold out the quarter here. Hadley Hatch guarded by Ledwick, running off the screen. Shot went, but we are going to get a foul prior. Will be on the Rangers, perhaps an illegal screen. That's the only thing that I could dream up there. 33 seconds. Clock continues to run. Madeline Levine in the Dragon net. They have to go the full length of the field here. Clock continues.
Danger shot.
Danger shot.
Danger.
Dangerous shot was the call. Grace Roque with 14 seconds here for the Dragons. Dangerous situation here. Grace Roque needs to just launch this ball. She will continue to hang on to it. 5 seconds, and the clock will strike 0 here in Cumberland as the Dragons trail 6-1 going into our second half of play. Rob, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Yeah, Kaz, the Dragons scored first here in the Class B semifinal, but 6 straight by the Rangers give them the 6-1 lead. We're going to take a break here. We'll mute the stream, and we get back here in 7 minutes for the second half of action, Kaz.
Yes, we will, Robert.
At the Maine Air National Guard table on site today. And
Gentlemen, to our third period of action between the Brunswick Dragons and the Greeley Rangers here in the Class B Girls Lacrosse Semifinal. Dragons struck first in the first quarter, now trail 6-1, Kaz.
Yeah, Rob, there was high hopes early, but the winds quickly shifted and the Dragons' boat is now sinking.
Sydney Parham will look to right the ship as she gets the opening draw ground ball and passes ahead to Cantrell. Cantrell gives it back to Parham, top of the key. Lofts it up, caught by Nolt, and backs out beyond the arc. Has Mishu. Mishu initiates and backs out. Mishu has Barnhorst. Barnhorst top of the key. Gets the pick by Parham. Barnhorst surveys. Inside, caught by Kowski. Turns around. Canadian bounce shot saved by Clark, and it bounces into her stick. Really takes over possession here. 11:20 to go in the third quarter. That is just a great stop there from Clark.
Yeah, it is, but it's a great look from Kowski as well. I think we got to look at that. You know, Kowski getting the Canadian bouncer off it's not terrible.
Odd man rush for the Rangers. Pass to X with Perkins. Perkins in her left hand along goal line extended, passes it up, caught there from Crocker. Crocker has Collins. Hatch guarded by the co-player of the year, Solveig Ledwick, for the Dragons. Really content to run clock here, leading by 5. They do come in as the number 1 seed at 12-2. The Dragons, the number 5 seed, beat Coney 9-7 last game. Shot is wide left of the net. We have a new goalie for the Dragons. It's Bella Bates now. Maddie Levine made a few saves in the first half. Dragons win the run out off the missed shot, and it will be Dragon possession. It's Donahue. 10-10 to go in the third. Ledwick fires, has Nolt. This Greeley Rangers zone ride, Kaz, has just been brutal. Big reason why we and the boys team lost to Greeley in our playoff game on Thursday in the quarterfinal was because we just couldn't clear the ball in the second quarter. And the Dragons are in the same way. They can't get the offensive possessions. They can't clear the ball. The Rangers in this zone ride just have 7 white shirts sitting between the midline and the 30-yard line. Dragons just can't get by it. And now Addie White finally crosses the midline. She's surrounded, though, but it's caught by Barnhorst. Gets into the offensive zone. The Dragons finally able to beat the ride. Barnhorst inside shot. Save made by Clark. Barnhorst collects her own rebound, though, settling at X. Barnhorst inside caught. Nolt fires. And another save by Clark.
Yeah, those are 2 huge stops for Clark there. Great look from Nolt and from Barnhorst, and she just deals with both of them expertly. That's a heartbreaker there for the Dragons.
Barnhorst playing some great lacrosse today, has the lone goal for Brunswick and then set up 2 great scoring chances. But Clark, highway robbery twice, keeps this game at 6-1.
Yeah, those were both doorstep opportunities there. Doorstep opportunities for the Dragons, and just couldn't convert either of them. That one hurts.
This is Maya Tracy carrying past midfield. And you see the Rangers clearing, I was going to say with ease, but Cantrell gets to the turnover on the ride. Cantrell has Kowski open. And here come the Dragons. Kowski has 2 white shirts in front of her. Pumps. Kowski shot and scores. Beats Clark stick side low. And the Dragons have finally broken this Rangers scoring run. Their first goal in about 2 quarters.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Dragons needed. Odd man situation there for Kowski. She was down a player. It was 2-on-1 for the defenders, and Kowski just manages to get far right side and bury it bottom left corner.
Brunswick Dragons goal scored by number 7, Eva Kowski. Go Greely! Go Greely!
8:26 to go here in the third quarter.
Go Greely!
Draw here on the freshly painted Greeley Rangers logo. Kaz, interesting, on this turf field, all the lines are painted rather than embedded into the actual grass. It is just all green grass with the lines painted, which I don't mind. You get the soccer and football lines not distracting us from the lacrosse lines. Bates able to get possession back for the Dragons.
So a little piece of info here. The Dragons have made a goalie switch at the half. They do play pretty much equally in terms of goalies here. They split games more often than not, but splitting halves is something I don't feel like we've seen a ton of this year.
Yeah, both lacrosse teams did do that for Brunswick. JT Weaver and Brendan Drake both started games for the boys team. And once again, this Greely zone ride, Dragons just can't get the ball past midfield, and the Rangers come the other way with Lord. Lord guarded by White will settle and just run some clock for the Rangers, up still by 4. Of course, 4-goal leads on this field are very surmountable, as it turns out. We actually led 7-3 the other night against these Rangers.
Yeah, I do remember watching that, Rob. I was homesick, but tuned in on BHSN. Was quite excited for a little while, but the excitement was short-lived, and it might be here as well.
A roll and a score from Hadley Hatch, giving the Rangers their first goal of the second half. A bounce shot, stick side low on Bates. That's her third. And you could hear the ring of those Gilman Gear nets. Best goal in lacrosse, Kaz. Best sound in lacrosse. That Gilman Gear ring. Bounce shot hit along the pipe.
Yeah, I would believe that, Rob. These Gilman Gear nets are no joke. That's what I've heard from all the great lacrosse people I know.
Draw is won by Seaver for the Rangers. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Dragons just need the ball back, Cats.
Again.
Magoon inside. It's caught. Bounce shot. Score again. Crocker was open on the crease and able to beat Bates 5-hole. It's 8-2. Really.
Greely Rangers goal scored by number 14, Kelsey Proctor.
We're seeing another situation where at the beginning of the half, the Dragons had, that little burst of hope, and it is quickly being crushed back down by the Greely attack.
Yeah, the Dragons have scored first in both halves, but after that, it's another story.
Yeah, it has been a 6-goal unanswering, and so far a 2-goal unanswering.
We did see the Dragons come back from a pretty big deficit against Wells at Mount Ararat. Did end up falling by a goal, but they were down, I think, by 6 goals in that game.
I think that's right, Rob. That was a great game to commentate.
Hopefully they can do 7, because McKenna Seaver has made it 9-2 Rangers. Just another cutting open on the crease, catch and score off stick high on Bates.
Yeah, some unfortunate individual could be watching this game. I've tuned in for the first minute or so of half and just ran to the bathroom or something, and had a 6-2 deficit turn into a 9-2 deficit.
Do appreciate the 7 people watch. Well, I guess 6, because Oscar is one of those 7. The 6 people who decided not to pay for NFHS Network and are watching our radio stream.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for remaining loyal to the BHSN fan base.
Oh, sorry, 4.
Well, we'll be back up. We've had big fluctuations in the past, of course. That one legendary Camden Hills game where we rounded in about 150 viewers. There were times under 100 there.
Here come the Rangers with Bush. Bush inside, lost the ball. Nice check from Sydney Parham. And it's recovered by small left hand up to Kowski. The Dragons just have to clear the ball before the Rangers can set up that zone ride. And they are able to, with Nolt carrying past midfield. That is just huge. But Nolt still harassed. And here they go. 4 players set up above the Dragons. But White is able to find Cantrell. The Dragons finally get set back up on offense. Cantrell towards the net. Will round X, feeds inside. It hit off Clark. And the Rangers get possession back.
That was not a bad look from the Dragons, but we're out of time for not bad looks. We need goals. I think we need that to be converted in the future. And here comes Greely the other way.
Here comes Seaver. Seaver to X. This is Perkins as Waterhouse, top of the key with Seaver. Charging towards the net is Hatch, outside to Seaver. Seaver to Seaver here. McKenna and Naomi. Seaver down the alley is defended by Parham. Could get into a scenario where Parham is guarding Seaver and Parham is guarding Seaver, Kaz.
Yeah, that would be. I suppose that'd be great fun, Rob. That would be real interesting.
Ball was out of bounds. It was deflected by a Ranger, and the Dragons get possession back. But if the Rangers can set up their zone ride, then I don't know if the Dragons can get the ball to the offensive zone. It's Parham at about the 20-yard line. But once again, these lines are painted on so you can't quite see the football lines. Up ahead, the Dragons have a 3-on-1 opportunity. Harrelson could not get the ball to Nolt. And it will be a free position shot for Van Harrelson.
Yeah, it looks like Harrelson had Nolt there, but couldn't quite get the pass off. We're going to see if Harrelson can bury this one. Now to cut the lead down to 6.
Critical scoring chance for Brunswick. Harrelson shot save made by Clark. Clark dropped to her knees and the ball just hit her right on the chest protector. Ball is rolling and Nolt, critical ground ball for the Dragons. Can Nolt pick it up? She does, right in front of her bench. Nolt cuts back, left hand finds the KVAC co-player of the year, Solveig Ledwick. Ledwick. Mishu cuts to the crease. Ledwick gets inside. Ledwick drops to X. Harrelson makes the catch. Harrelson. We get another whistle.
Yeah, it looks like maybe just a little too much contact there on Harrelson. And she will run it in now.
Outside to Nolt. It was deflected, though, and scooped up by Bush for the Rangers. Bush back to her goalie. And can the Rangers clear now? Pass is dropped. Ground ball. The Dragons need this possession, Kaz. Ball bounds. Parham trying for it. Still on the ground around the 20-yard line. I do think that's a good indicator for this radio broadcast to tell people the football yard markers to give them an idea of where the ball is. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I agree. The goal does sit at the face of the end zone as well.
So pretty, going to have to utilize that a little bit more, Kaz.
Yeah, we're going to have to. We get a random air horn, and now it appears to be a timeout.
Kaz, the ball is sitting on about the 8-yard line on the Greely defensive zone.
That's about right. We'll be Greely to take over from their own side when we come back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our third quarter of action between the Rangers and the Dragons. Rangers are on and 2-1 run here in the second half. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
3-1. Think of it. Was it 6-1 at halftime?
Something like that. It's been a rough third quarter so far. And hoping to wrap it up and get on to our fourth, or the Dragons will mount their comeback.
Really ball. Pass up ahead is corralled by Waterhouse. Waterhouse crosses midfield to the 40-yard line. Waterhouse steps out of bounds and is knocked out by Kowski. Dragons get the ball back. The ride from the Dragons is keeping them in this game. They have possession once again. Rangers have been unable to clear the ball here in the second half, and Dragons have a chance because of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an issue for both teams, to be quite frank.
Barnhorst switches hands and takes it inside the 30-yard line. Barnhorst initiates into the shooting arc, takes it around X. Barnhorst surveys. Bumped by Stewart. And here's Knowlton now. 1:45 to go in the third quarter. So was forecast.
Neither do I, to be honest with you. 3-second violation.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying.
5 seconds. 3 seconds.
5 seconds. Close to the garden.
Knowlt. Bounding ball is scooped by Barnhorst. 1:10 to go. Knowlt inside. Takes it around X, still in her right hand. Spins at the 5-yard line. Barnhorst loses the ball, picks it back up. A minute to go. Barnhorst drops it again, picks it up again. Barnhorst still with the ball. Has Ledwick. Ledwick, 50 seconds left to work with. Ledwick into the arc. Will let it fly and score. On the run, bounce shot, bottom right. On once again this turf that the ball just does not bounce that highly on. Able to put it low and beat Clark off stick low. It's the best shot to take.
Yeah, Rob, it really is. And especially on a turf that doesn't get a whole lot of bounce, you're going to get a goalie who's not super familiar with that. And that will go for the Dragons. That's the move.
Something one win.
Well, I do think Clark is pretty familiar with that type of bounce since this is her home field here at this neutral site playoff game.
I suppose so. But at the same time, you got to think there's been probably a lot of games that haven't been played here. Yeah, you make a good point.
Ledwick won the direction of the draw, but Rangers get possession. 30 seconds left. Rangers trying to get one last bite at the apple here with 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. Here's Magoon. Magoon to X. 15 seconds left. Seaver down to 10 seconds. Crocker. Rangers have 5 seconds, and I don't think they're going to the cage, Kaz. Finally going to. Steps in and out, and they do not try to take a shot.
No, it looks like they were just going to run that one out. Maybe they didn't know, but it feels like a mistake to not try and put anything on there.
I would tend to agree. Dragons down by 6 here, entering the fourth quarter. They are fighting for their lives here, Kaz.
Yeah. As I mentioned this earlier, we're going to need the fourth quarter of perfection and prosperity to pull the Dragons back into this.
Dragons had a fantastic playoff run, a dominating win over Mount Blue, and then that very tight victory over the Coney Rams on Thursday. Kaz did not have time to do too much research for this game. I would have loved to look up the last time the Dragons were in the semifinal, last time they were in the championship. I think I do remember. I think I was a freshman. They were in the championship. Yeah.
I think
You were in eighth grade?
I think that's right. I'm trying to think because it was the year after the boys won, right?
Yeah.
I think it was. So I think that would mean I would be an 8th grader.
Hmm.
Because the boys won the chip in 2022.
Yeah, so 2023 was the last time the Dragons were in the state championship. Not too bad of a drought. I did go my entire high school career without it there.
It's unfortunate. You were short by a year, yeah? 2.
1.
1 year. Short by a year.
On both ends, of course, because next year the boys will be making the state championship.
They got that high firepower offense of Ryan Livison, Noah Colker, and Henry Putnam. Those guys are firing away. Should be a good year for lacrosse next year. I think. Unfortunately, Brunswick hockey teams may not do so great next year. Both teams losing a lot of key players.
We have some Marshwood fans starting to arrive. That game, I believe, was set for 7:30, which is going to be a decent gap between. I plan on staying for that game too. That's an hour and a half away.
Some real committed Marshwood fans here. Hour and a half early. That's ambitious.
They're locked in. Hayden Demorado at attack. Fantastic player. We'll see how the Rangers try to guard him and how the Hawks try to guard that high-powered Greely offense, who scored 14 against Brunswick on Thursday.
Should be a ripping matchup, obviously, Rob. And we unfortunately will not be here to cover. We are here to cover the end of this game, which has 12 minutes to go in our last quarter of play here. Dragons trail 9-3. Don't worry, I'm updating the scoreboard for you guys right now. Do not fear.
It's Sienna Small on the draw for Brunswick this time. Ledwick had taken everyone up to this point. Ground ball is won by Natalie Parham in the Dragon defensive zone. That is critical possession once again. As Greely gets violations like this and the clock just keeps moving, so it's in their best interest to slow the game down, try to get violations, stand in the wrong place, have the ref wait for them to get in the right spot, and just shorten the length of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's something of a strategy, certainly. Just burn time off in an illegal legal way, you know.
Nolt makes the catch as Mishu along the 10-yard line.
Good job, Gracie.
Nolt. Nolt, top of the key. 11 minutes left. Dragons need 6 goals. Barnhorst flips back to Nolt. Nolt initiates. Nolt backs out. Has Barnhorst. Picked by Mishu. Nolt's open. Shot. Save made. Tried to go stick side low on Clark. Clark dropped to her knees and ate it up in her mesh.
Yeah, Liv Clark has been doing an excellent job today getting to those low balls from the Dragons. She has stopped a multitude of them for sure.
Kowski picks up the ground ball on the ride, shot in, save. Stick side high shot by Kowski. Clark makes, I'm sorry, an easy save.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard angle for Eva Kowski, certainly, to put it anywhere but there, but Clark just dealing with it excellently.
Still, though, fantastic job by Kowski on the Dragon ride, stopping Greely from clearing the ball. It's been critical for Brunswick to keep them in this game. They're going to need another one here, as Greely does have possession after the Dragons stepped out of bounds. Here's Clark looking up the field. This time it is caught by Bush. Bush nearing the right sideline. It takes it past midfield to the 30-yard line, bumped by Nolt.
And the clock is under 10 minutes now, 9:40 roughly to go in our final quarter of play.
We're down to one other viewer here, Kaz.
It's unfortunate.
A listener.
It's a tough situation for the Dragons. You know, some people want to just look away, and I don't blame them. It's hard to see your favorite team lose. I'm all too familiar with that. watching the BHSN stream last week.
Beats up the field, caught by Barnhorst. Barnhorst bumps past midfield with speed. Barnhorst has the open Ivakowski. Dragons have numbers, at least for a moment. Kowski absorbs the bump and will settle here on offense for the Dragons. 8:45 left. Ledwick absorbs the contact. Will be a hold. Dragons get set up. Ledwick to Nolt. Back to Ledwick. Inside, caught by the open Mishu, who buries it. Dragons cut it to 5.
Maybe here come the Dragons, Rob. What do we think?
Never say die. I ain't hear no bell, Kaz.
That's right on, Robbie. Bell hasn't rung, the fight ain't over.
Take it off, Sal! Take it off!
Ball will take the draw again.
I'm gonna miss you.
I believe what's happening here, Kaz. Ledwick was losing a lot of the draws, so they want to try to have her get the ground ball off the draw instead, because Seaver's been pretty dominant there. And Seaver's been winning them backwards a lot, so they're positioning Ledwick behind Seaver, trying to get this ground ball here. Small versus Seaver. And the ball does go towards Ledwick, and Ledwick nearly took it out of the air, but it's a ground ball won by Seaver, pushed from behind by Nolt. Really, parents were not too happy.
And Madison Nolt will receive a yellow card for that play. The pleasure of the Greely parent section. Dragons will be down a player here. Will be Seaver now to on the ball. We're getting a brief stoppage here, waiting for the refs to get all organized. 4-9 is your score line. They're waiting for Robert to figure out how to plug in the iPad. Or sorry, the MacBook. Inbound here, it will be Casey Lord behind the net. Dragons down a player here. CC Smith is the first slide. Greely appears to be setting up a play here. I'll hand it back to Rob.
Clock is moving. 2-minute locked-in penalty on Nolt. Pass inside. Last time the Dragons had a 2-minute locked-in penalty, the Rangers scored twice. That would not be good right now.
No, that would be a nail in the coffin situation.
At the very least, the Rangers just able to kill 2 minutes off this clock. Do.
Looks like they're going to try and do just that. They're not too ambitious here. They're holding off. Not taking any risk that is deemed unnecessary by the Greely attack.
Here's Seaver. And that is just a critical error for the Rangers, as Lord dropped the ball, but able to keep it in bounds. So not too critical after all. Here's Lord. Still behind that, just playing catch with Ingersoll. Below goal line extended. Caught by Seaver. Going to be a shooting space violation on Natalie Parham. And it will be a free position shot for Naomi Seaver. Trying to put that nail in the coffin. Bella Bates in net for the Dragons. Seaver. My deepest apologies, guys. I had a time limit set on my YouTube app, which of course ends the stream or pauses it rather. And because we have the phone positioned, I'll show you our setup here. We have just the binder setup filming the computer. And then we have, of course, Oscar over here strumming out once again to take me out by Franz Ferdinand. So because the phone was right here, I did not realize that I had hit that time limit because I could not see the screen of the phone.
Yeah, Robert couldn't see the screen. Neither could I, given that it was propped up against here. Rob, why don't we show them right here?
Yeah, once again.
Visibility from this angle.
Yeah.
So here, I'm just going to give a quick demo with my phone. This was this is the screen that we're looking to see here, like this, like so. Nothing.
Yeah,
But-
of course, it took literally 5 seconds for me to see ignore limit and then get the stream rolling again. But yeah, just unable to do that when I couldn't see the phone.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go here, Rob. We are coming to a close.
I think that was probably almost the entire fourth quarter that was missed. But once again, it's not being filmed, so I think people will live. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left here in the fourth, guys. Cantrell has Ledwick. 2 minutes left now. Dragons have to attack immediately. They just discussed something in the timeout. Mishu has Nolt top of the key. Caught by Parham. Steps in. 1:40 left. Horst inside. Tries to let it fly. It was a nice deflection, though, to prevent a shot attempt. Clark comes out of the Priest to get possession. Checked from behind by Cantrell, but holds on to it. Clark has the open Waterhouse, and the Rangers clear for potentially the final time of this game. But unable to collect on that pass, so Roke scoops it up in the Dragon defensive zone. Has Barnhorst. Barnhorst has Ledwick, and with 70 seconds left, the Dragons will try to add one more here. Mishu couldn't hold on. I believe we did miss the Mishu goal. I'm sure I had a great call of it, but that's how the Dragons got to 9-4.
Yes, under a minute now. Just about 50 seconds to go for the Dragons here. They need a goal every 10 seconds, and that needs to start now.
First 10 seconds, they have not met their quota. Mishu flips it back to Barnhorst inside, caught by Nolt. Nolt lets it fly, and another stick-side save. That was a good shot, but Clark able to move and make the stop.
Yeah, Lynn Clark has been the Greely hero today. And the Brunswick hopefuls, or the state championship hopefuls, Brunswick, have been shut down by her. 20 seconds to go, and Bush will just like it into the offensive third and likely run out this clock here in Cumberland.
It was a great playoff run for the 5-seeded Brunswick Dragons, taking down Tony last game. But that is the final second. The Greely Rangers will go to the state championship. I think we can film the celebration probably. MPA can't get too mad.
Yeah, what are they going to do now?
Well, Kaz, it's been a pleasure here on Brunswick High Lacrosse Network. That will do it for us this season.
Yeah, that's going to take us to the end. Both teams now have been knocked out by Greely. Clearly
that's great.
Clearly a strong lacrosse program at that school, so big shout out to them. But yeah, it's not how you want to see it end.
And both on this field, of course. Would have been nice to have this game at Mount Ararat, which would have been a little more of a neutral site. But we'll see Greely face Marshwood in maybe like 45 minutes. That'll be fun. You guys won't see it, though, unless you want to pay, once again, that $13.99 a month for NFHS. You can see Hayden Demorado and the Marshwood Hawks go up against Zach Yake and Maddox Cook and the Greely Rangers.
Yeah, we're pulling for Marshwood. Yeah, Rob?
Really, guys were pretty nice.
Really, guys are pretty nice. All right, let's do our starts of the game here and our parting goodbyes here. Our Robert Bowen farewell address is necessary.
Yeah, I got to go straight to, what's her first name? Hadley Hatch, number 13 in white for the Rangers, had a hat trick. A third of the goals for the Rangers. She's certainly my first star of this game.
Yeah, Rob, I'm going to jump us over to Brunswick here. I'm going to go Emma Mishu, the freshman. Had a big game when we needed it. A lot of nice footwork, a lot of great offensive stuff there from her. That will be my star of the game. And Rob, take us out here.
Well, definitely Ostergaardside's going to get our third star.
My third star will be Liv Clark, the Greely goalie. Made a lot of important saves down the stretch there that kept the Rangers in a commanding lead.
Yeah, the sophomore right-handed goalie played phenomenal for the Rangers, and yeah, that's gonna do it here, Kaz. I'm certain this won't be my last BHSN stream. I'll come home from BC and hop on a broadcast. Probably will be hockey or basketball, but yeah, that'll do it for my tenure. Well, I'm not even a Brunswick high school student anymore, so I don't really know what this is the end of, but
This is the end of your senior year of BHSN commentary.
yeah.
That's what it is. You know, everybody, all the seniors that are on that field aren't students anymore, but they're still a part of this team in the same sense that you are a part of the team at BHSN.
Of course, we had my senior night about 4 months ago for the boys hockey senior night, and here's my final game. So, final game here for the Brunswick girls lacrosse seniors. They had fantastic careers as well. Solveig Ledwick, as we mentioned, the co-player of the year for the KVAC.
Yeah, Rob, that'll do it. Thank you all for joining us here on BHSN this afternoon. That is probably our last game until June 24th. I believe we're covering the All-Star game. So stay tuned for that. We'll probably be back there. But for now, goodbye. And Rob, it has been nothing short of a pleasure.
Of course, we had Kosinski and Robert Bowen on the microphone, as well as Oscar Guardside helping out. Couldn't done it without you, man.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
Dragons fall 9-4. The Greely Rangers will play for a state title on Friday.